How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. We also got to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. So today we're going to be talking about SOS and EBON, and SOS ended up dropping some big time news today, which I'm going to be sharing in this video. But before we get started, as you know, we have to go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, just to let you know, we have timestamps down below in the description just in case there's certain areas you might want to check out. But anyways, let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to be going over is the recent news that came out for SOS, and then after we go over that news, then we're going to be doing a technical analysis for both SOS and EBON. After we do that, we're also going to be checking out the order flow distribution. Many of you have said, Dre, we need an update on it. You did it last time, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it for you guys this time. And then after, when all of that is done, I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts afterwards. So let's get into it. So we're now on the SOS official website, and we're going to be taking a look at the recent news that came out. So SOS subsidiaries receive a MSB licenses from US and Canada, continues progress towards the launch of its digital asset exchange. SOS announced today that its US and Canadian subsidiaries obtained Money Services Business or MSB licenses from the US Financial Crimes Enforcement Network Department of the Treasury and the Financial Transactions and Reports Analysis Center, respectively. The US MSB license issued by FinCEN allows SOS subsidiary to act as a foreign exchange dealer, money transfer agent, and seller of money orders. The Canadian MSB license is issued by FinTrack, allows SOS to conduct money transfers and be a dealer for foreign exchange as well as virtual currencies. Mr. Yang Dang Wang, CEO of SOS, commented, "The overall plan of SOS digital currency business is systematically designed around blockchain technology. The setup of a digital currency exchange is a key component. We anticipate this exchange will be operated via US XX Exchange Limited, our US subsidiary Canada XX Exchange Limited, our Canadian subsidiary or subsidiaries in other select jurisdictions. Receipt of the two MSB licenses is a major milestone in our compliance efforts. We are continuing work on other licenses and permits required to launch the exchange and expect to begin discussions with third-party service providers in the near future. We remain optimistic about the development of blockchain technology. The mutual promotion of mining and exchange businesses will provide us with multifaceted experience and progress towards the commercialization of blockchain technology." So this is really great news overall, and it kind of goes back to the fact where I was saying, you know what, this legitimizes SOS even more, especially since they're making those strides into establishing their cryptocurrency exchange. I love it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for SOS, which ended up closing today at $3.62, being up 1.12% on the day. On the low, it tested $3.20, and then on the high, testing $3.70. So one of the things I want you guys to be aware of, currently we're looking at the 6-month chart, is areas of support. So we tested $3.20, and as you can see, we ended up making that high going to $3.70. We ended up getting some good news today, which was great. But what would happen if the stock decides to pull back further is the next question. So definitely, if it does decide to pull back further, we'd have to look for that area of support being tested right here at this $3 level. And as well, if it decides to pull back even further, we could see here we'll be having a test around $2.75. If $2.75 did ever end up breaking, then the next level to look out for will be around the $2.50s, $2.45. So keeping that in mind, I feel like this is literally going to be the floor if it did ever pull back that far, which would be a great opportunity to ride it up or bring your average cost down. Another thing, if we take a look at the RSI here down below, it is literally right at 31. So at 31, EBON, you're definitely getting a steal for this particular stock. We do know that stocks are going to be rebounding right now. The bearish conditions in the market have definitely been extended, but I do believe a lot of these crypto stocks are going to be making a big time move, especially when Bitcoin gets to 100K. So from what we're seeing right now, the pattern is definitely continuing to look bearish here. It is below the 200-day, below the 100-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. It won't start looking bullish until it can at least reclaim back to the 21-day EMA at $3.84, and I do want to see it come back to start reclaiming back to the 100-day. But as far as for this week, I'm really not seeing that, but I do see a rebound that's going to be coming before the end of the year. Many of you have asked me, what's my price target before the end of the year? I have it right over here at $10, just to kind of let you guys know. So that's why, as far as upside potential here, I'm definitely bullish on SOS, and we'll be taking advantage of those pullbacks. So when we take a look at the order flow distribution for SOS, here's what it looks like. So for today, inflow is at 14,601, and then outflow is at 12,390. So that means inflow definitely exceeded outflow, which shows, hey, it's looking fairly bullish. Even if we take a look at May the 11th, which is today's date, and we look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, we have 222 for today alone. So things are definitely looking bullish for SOS from what we can see. Now let's move on to the technicals for EBON. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for EBON. So it ended up closing the day at $3.01, being down 1.95% on the day. On the low, it tested $2.59, and then on the high, testing $3.07. So we could see right over here when it tested around that $2.59 level, and you could see the chart is definitely looking very bearish here. One thing that we want to take notice of, we're also below all of our indicators, which is the 200-day, the 100-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And if you take a look at the RSI down below, it is below 30. So anyone, like I say, who believes in the long-term prospects of EBON, this is definitely a great opportunity to start building out a position. One thing to also understand, we've already seen, hey, is 259, that 260 area, let's just call it that, just round this thing up. Is that going to be the floor? That's one thing we got to ask ourselves. If that is the floor, then that's an area you're going to want to be looking out for in regards to a pullback. Like I said, this is at the 52-week low. So if it does pull back, it could go back even further than that. But again, this is where your conviction comes in. So one of the areas that we need to look out for EBON to begin to start looking bullish again, it have to reclaim $3.32, which is right at the 21-day EMA, and then make that move to at least the 100-day. We do know that it's going to meet some resistance and some strong selling pressure when it does get to $4, but again, with increased volume and more buying, it could definitely get past this and make a big move. Will it rebound? Most definitely, as we know that EBON is in the area of actually mining for Dogecoin and as well as Litecoin. So this is definitely an opportunity and part of the reasons why I feel EBON should be able to recover itself. And just like many other stocks that are in the crypto space that are getting beaten up right now. And one of the things I want you guys to realize, if we take a look at the previous history of EBON, it has this times where, you know what, it kind of just sells off, builds some support, builds some strength, and then it'll have a spike, and then it does rinse and repeat over and over again. So there's no doubt in my mind it will repeat a similar pattern like this before the end of the year. So now we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution for EBON. So you can see here, as far as inflow, it's at 8,233, and outflow is at 6,678. So inflow did beat out outflow overall in general. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see here, taking into consideration May the 11th, which is today, we have about 1,144. So just considering and taking this and comparing it to what was going down as far as large scale orders for EBON today, it was at 34, with large being at that 1,179, looking at the order flow. So just taking a look at this, it shows us actually two things. Yes, we do have some major dumping, so a lot of selling that is going on with EBON, but also if we look at medium orders, it's definitely a lot of buying going on, and as well well as for small orders, which tends to be more so retail investors. So we have more retail investors who are buying up shares, and as well institutions that are not making as many large scale orders. So now what we're going to be doing is moving on to the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for SOS and EBON, let's just start off with SOS. That news was definitely great. The fact that they're able to get their MSB license for the US and as well for Canada, which is where I'm at, is amazing news. And it's great for the fact because now we know, hey, they're legitimizing their business even further in the eyes so everyone can see it. And also it's great for their overall exchange that they're going to be releasing as well. And one of the things that we've been noticing, SOS has definitely been keeping investors in the loop as far as the progress that they've been making. And also we have to take into consideration the great earnings report that we got that excludes actually their crypto mining operations. So for the most part, things are definitely looking bullish for SOS. In regards to the price action that we're currently seeing, if you do believe in the long-term prospects, I see a big time opportunity here, especially if you're a believer like myself in regards to Bitcoin getting to 100K. And also when the market begins to rebound, SOS I feel can really benefit from this. We're also seeing that institutions are interested. There's a lot of large scale orders that have been going in. So taking all of that into consideration is part of the reasons why, hey, I feel things are looking good for SOS. I didn't add anything from Fintel. There wasn't too much of a difference in regards to the information that I spoke about yesterday. Also the short volume ratio, which was from yesterday, was around 14%. And as we know, it's been below 21% for a little bit. If we take a look now at EBON. So I was taking a look at the institutional ownership for EBON, and yes, it is still above 21%. But also one thing we need to take into consideration, many institutions are playing it very safe here. And it's part of the reasons why I really do feel like, hey, you know what, we have an idea of, you know what, I think it's near the bottom, but also they're kind of being aware of the fact that, hey, could it pull back even further? Right? So that's another thing we need to take into consideration here. So I see institutions, they're probably just going to be adding a little bit. They're not going to be adding too heavy. We also haven't received any news from EBON as well. And we haven't been seeing any updates whatsoever. It's been quite some time as compared to SOS. So these are some of the things we need to take into consideration and can definitely have an impact on overall price action. Also do keep in mind, we have a lot of volatility in the markets. If you look at the other crypto stocks, they're also getting pullbacks as well. So it's not only these two stocks that are actually being impacted. And that's one of the things I want you guys to be aware of. But overall, in general, I still have my positions. I have not added or anything like that. Like I feel like there might be another pullback. And when that pullback does happen, then I will think about adding. And of course, if you guys are in this play as well, I have to emphasize this again. For your overall portfolio, these particular stocks shouldn't be taking up the majority of your portfolio. No more than about 10% to 5% at the max. You don't need that much volatility. And I know many of you are like, hey man, like shoot, like what's going to be happening? What's the price target? So to eliminate all of those concerns and so forth, you want to make sure you limit your exposure when it comes to penny stocks. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and we'll be talking real soon.